session, please know that those credits are not available to you at this time. In order to receive those credits, please be sure at the end of the webinar to fill out the survey at the very end. That's how we're going to know that you stayed throughout the whole presentation, and then we can go ahead and issue those AIA credits for you. Now, I'm really excited to be presenting this with Managed Design. Managed Design is a Bluebeam Platinum partner and an Autodesk Gold partner. They've been delivering trusted solutions for over 25 years, and with their senior level engineers, they provide training, consulting, and technical support. Throughout the presentation, we encourage you to ask questions using the question box. I have a couple of peers on the line who are going to help me with those questions. And I will definitely check in with those and make sure that we address those questions throughout the presentation. We do have quite a few people and lots of different levels of ability with Bluebeam, or with Bluebeam Revu, I'm sorry. So what I'll do, when we get into the presentation, we'll start off with just a brief overview of the interface and the product itself, or the software itself, and show you how the real-time project collaboration with Bluebeam Studio works. So, as I said, the credits are earned. You need to be on this recording through the entire thing. Please be sure to fill out that survey at the end. And again, if you're looking for your certification or your certificate, please email us at the end, and we will be happy to provide that to you. The course description, I think that, obviously Managed Design has sent out all the information. So this is really about using Bluebeam Revu and our integrated cloud solution Studio to host virtual meetings that enable entire or remote project partners from across the globe to collaborate online in real time. So we'll definitely be spending quite a bit of time talking about that solution. Now, the learning objectives for this course are pretty simple, but very, very intense in the sense that, the concepts themselves are pretty simple, but the benefit is huge for our customers. So we're going to talk about implementing digital workflows that span the entire project lifecycle, creating optimized PDFs that seamlessly transition from the office to the field. It's important that, as you're working in the field, you have an optimized set of documents that you can work with and that your customers and project partners can work with. So we'll show you how you can do that. Redlining 2D and 3D PDFs with customizable markups, cloud tools, callouts, all sorts of different things that can then be saved to a tool chest to be used again very simply. And then also we want to show you how you can store entire project folders in the cloud for free, yes, for free, and review PDFs in real time, or really at any time, with our Bluebeam Studio, which comes with every license of review. So a lot of people will ask if this is a subscription-based product that they have to sign up for. And the great news is that when you buy a license of Bluebeam Revu, you automatically get access to Bluebeam Studio, which comes in two different forms. There's Bluebeam Studio, and there's Bluebeam, Sessions, and then there's Bluebeam Projects, or Studio Projects. One is more of a light document management system, and the other is the real-time online document-based collaboration. So I'll be sure to show you both of those and how they work together. So without further ado, I'm just going to hit escape on my keyboard, and you'll see that I've actually been in Revu this entire time. And if you just give me one moment, sorry about my messy desktop, I'm just going to change my profile because sometimes GoToMeeting does some funky things with our interface, and I just want to make sure that you see it the way that we see it. All right. So this is the interface, and this is the interface in its most basic form. You can see, it's all driven by these menus up top with, the icons that change as you go through. There's definitely lots of screen space here, which is fantastic for viewing PDFs because you have, the maximum space. But all of this is driven by what we call our profile manager. Now, Revu comes preloaded with several different profiles. I'm right now in the simple profile, and that just strips down the interface to be as basic as possible. Again, giving you as much screen real estate as possible. But I can go ahead and choose any of these preloaded profiles that have come with the software. I'm actually going to go into my construction profile because that's the one that I like the best. And you'll see that Revu actually reorients itself and adds all sorts of new icons. I've now got a bunch of different options, icons for all my markups and those types of things. And the great thing is that Revu is completely customizable. So all of these things can be moved around using right-click, which in the software we like to say is your best friend, because it's always going to give you a context menu and give you the options that you have available to you. So just like those profiles, we have all of these preloaded tool sets, or rather toolbars. So if I, for instance, wanted to open up my signature, because I do signatures on a very regular basis and I don't want to have to keep going to the menu, I can turn that on and then move this around and really create an interface that is specific to me. Now the other great thing is that these profiles can be customized by simply clicking on the Profiles Manager, and we can go ahead and we can add a new profile. So I'm going to call this one Angela's Profile and save that. And now you can see I have Angela's profile listed in here, and I can go ahead and I can save that profile and I can share it with multiple people. So by simply clicking on it, you see here that I've got my export function, and that allows me to create the interface and set it up the way that I want it to be, especially if I'm working with a bunch of different people on a project. I want them all to be looking at the same interface to make it as easy as possible for everyone. So you can have one administrator who goes through, sets up your profile, and then exports that out to the team that's going to be working on your project. And then everybody is working with the same set of tools with all the same information, and it makes it so much easier. Now, you can see that I've got these 3 different panels. These blue little half circles, those are our panel indicators. And there's one on the left, the right, and down here at the bottom. And these are what house the key features of Bluebeam Review. Now, I don't expect that people are going to remember where all of those are. I certainly don't, and I work for Bluebeam. So we've actually built in this lovely tab access, the upside down orange triangle, and that will give you all of those key features that you need. And all you need to do is choose that, and Review will open it in the appropriate window for you. Now, the bottom one here is really important because this is what houses our markups list, and we'll be talking a lot about that as we go through, because this is really key to the workflows that we talk about, especially when we're collaborating with different users. Over here in my left-hand panel, I have my file access, and file access is great because it allows me to save files that I use on a very regular basis, so that I'm not having to go through and drill down into a bunch of different menus to get to my different the documents that I need. So think of it like the favorites or bookmarks in your internet browser. You can see here I've got the presentation, and it gives me this little push pin that allows me to go ahead and pin that. Now I can create a new category, add it to an existing category, or I can just pin the file. And you'll see when I do that, it moves it up here. But it actually doesn't just take that file, it takes the entire source folder. So this is really great, specifically if you're working on a project and you're having to go through and click through several different file folders to try and get to the document that you're looking for. Now I easily have access to this A201 document, but if I needed to get another document from that folder, I can simply click on that folder, open it up, and I now have access to all of those documents as well. So just trying to make things as simple as possible for you when you're navigating through the software. You'll notice that as I open everything up, it's opening up in tab format, and this is great. It keeps things nice and simple. And Review is really smart. We like to say that we have a great intuitive interface. And one of the things I always like to point out is sometimes it's the small things that really make the biggest difference. And one of those things is the navigation of these documents. So just as an example, this A201 document is a large format. It's a 42 by 30 inch, and you can see that down here. And without having to make any changes or choose anything, I'm able to zoom in and out just using the scroll wheel on my mouse. Clicking and dragging allows me to pan, and then again I can zoom in and out. Now this concrete spec document is actually an 8.5 by 11, and now I've done nothing to change anything, but Review knows that I want to navigate this in scrolling mode. And so, again, it's just those nice, easy things that makes it super simple to navigate through the documents without having to click back and forth to make the changes on how you want to navigate through things. Now, we've also given you the ability to split your screen, and you can do so up to 16 times, both vertically and horizontally. And this is really great for customers who are using multiple monitors or who have very large monitors. Being able to, have these split screens so that you can be looking at multiple things, as you go through, with, again, out having to go through different views and different programs and having all sorts of different windows open. These can also be undocked. Again, I do that all the time because I have a second monitor on my desk, and so I'm constantly opening up those tabs and moving them over, which is great. And one of the great workflows that we love to show is the comparing of documents. So one of the things that you can do, you'll see here, I now have my A201 drawing and my revision 2. Let me just go ahead and close that one. And so now I can go and I can view these documents side by side and look for changes. Now, this is great, except that I'm having to manually, line up both of these windows at the same time. So this sync function, and if you turn that on, you'll notice now that Review is just going to match the views in both of my windows. So I'm only having to navigate through one document. This makes it so much easier for you to go through and, check your plans and look for those differences. But we've actually gone a step further, and we've created something called document comparison. And this is a great workflow when you are getting your different revisions and you are, looking to find those differences. Again, you can do this manually, but we like to use the technology that we have available. So we've built in this compare documents. Now, there's two different ways to compare documents. The first is overlay pages, which is like a light table, and allows you to choose your two documents and give them colors. Actually, you can do more than two documents, but multiple documents, change the colors on them, and then overlay them so that you can see where there might be clashes or some issues. If you've got your mechanical, electrical, and plumbing, and you want to lay those on top of each other and see where there might be some issues, overlay pages is a great way to do that. I personally prefer the compare documents function. I think it's extremely powerful and only takes a couple of seconds. So let's just go ahead and I will show you how easy it is to do this. So what I'm doing is I'm telling Review that I want to compare these two documents. I've got my A201 and my A201 revision. Now it's going to split the screen for me. And I'm going to go ahead and in just a matter of seconds you'll see that Review has been able to go through those documents, and it's actually on a pixel-by-pixel basis doing a comparison, and then automatically clouding any differences that it finds. So this is a really huge time saver for people who are, having to, again, compare these documents. Just a nice, quick way to find all the differences, and again, have Review just, highlight all of those for you, and in just a matter of minutes, your comparison is done. Have a new document, and this can be emailed directly from the interface so that everybody that's working on your project has access to the most up-to-date information. Go ahead and close that out. One of the other things that you can do within Review is you can, using that right click, you can actually go ahead and open a web tab as well. This is really great for people who are, looking up building codes or, working on specifications. If we go ahead here, split the screen a couple of times, and we'll move this web tab down here. So now I could be looking at my A202. Let me turn the sync off so it's not trying to match those up. But I've got my specification document here. I have my drawing, and then right here I can go ahead and look up my California building codes. So again, all within the same program without having to, navigate through different windows, clicking around. It just makes things that much easier for everybody. So let's go ahead and close out some of these, and we'll get back. Now, We've got this A201, and actually I'm going to open up my A201, the original drawing, because it doesn't have any markups on it or anything. And I'm going to show you how easy it is to use Revu's markup tools. Now, everybody's used to redlining, and it's called redlining for a reason. Everybody uses those red pens and goes through and makes their adjustments or makes their changes to a document. You can go ahead here and put in a cloud and say, need handrail specs. And it's pretty straightforward. Now, we give you multiple ways to access all of these tools. We're not trying to change the way that you're doing your work on a daily basis. We're really just trying to enhance it. So whether you're used to icons, or you would rather a drop-down menu, or even shortcut keys, you'll see that if I just hit C on my keyboard, I now have this great cloud tool. So again, just an easy way. We want to make it as easy as possible for you when you're working in this format to get much more done quickly. Now, again, it's called redlining for a reason because everything just sort of defaults to red, and we're all sort of used to that workflow. But one of the things that we love in Revu is the ability to go ahead and customize those tools. And it's super easy to do. Now, I can do it, again, a couple of different ways. If I wanted to, go ahead and change the appearance on this callout, I can do so using my appearance bar up here. Go ahead and make those changes. I can add some fill. Let's just choose green. Now I can't see through, so let me just change that fill opacity so that I can see it. And really simply, I was able to create my own custom tool. Now, the other way that you can customize these tools is by using that right-click functionality, by opening up your Properties panel, and you'll see here all of the options that we have available to go ahead and change. So again, let me just make those changes really quickly. We can change the text color and the fill, and again, we're going to change that fill opacity so we can see through and to the underlying content. And there we go. Now we have, again, a nice customized tool. Now over here in the left-hand panel, this is where our tool chest lives. And this is one of the key features of Revu because it allows you to create tools, custom tools, once. Those can then be saved to these tool sets, and then just like those profiles that we talked about, can be exported to other users. So you'll see here the cloud that I've placed and the callout are both listed here in my recent tools section. And just as a note, the recent tools will clear out once you close out your session of Revu. So if you want to keep those tools, it's important to save them. And there's a couple ways to do that. You can either just drag and drop them into your My Tools section, where you'll see it will assign a shortcut key. Or you can use this cogwheel, and you can go ahead and you can create your own custom tool set, just like we did with that profile. So let's just call this Angela's Tools. And click OK. We're just going to save it to the default location. And now, really simply, I have that new Angela's Tools. So I can go ahead and drag and drop these tools, these custom tools that I've created into my tools. And then again, using that cogwheel, I can go ahead and I can export that. Now I can send it in an email. I can put it up on a network drive. There are multiple ways that I can share this with different project people. But this is a really great way, again, to make sure that everybody's using the same tools. Now, one of the things we like to show is that Revu also has the ability to integrate with not only the images that you've already taken. So if you've been out in the field, you've taken some images, you can go ahead and you can drop those directly onto the drawing. So I can go ahead here and drop in this image, and then I'm going to grab my callout. Now you'll notice when I grab this callout, it actually is an exact duplicate of the callout that I placed before with the text and everything. Now, I'm not likely going to need that same text again, so we give you two different modes. And all you have to do is double-click, and that will put your tool into what we call Properties mode. Now, Properties mode retains all of those, the properties that you have assigned to that callout. But, again, just making it super easy so that you don't have to go through and recreate those custom tools over and over again. All issue to be addressed. And this is really great. We work in a very visual industry, being able to, put these kinds of images onto a document makes life so much easier for everybody. So now I have these tools, and you can see here I actually have some contractor tools that I created before. And this is what I was talking about in terms of those custom tools that you can share with, multiple project partners. So I've gone ahead and I've assigned or created these custom tools, all with the same properties, that I can go ahead and use here. So let's just say the contractor came in, and placed, please see new specs for electrical. All right. So now, really visually, I'm able to see that, this call out, if I know that purple is the contractor color, I can see that the contractor has placed that markup. But it's also housed here in my markups list. Now, the markups list is keeping track of everything that's being placed on this document. And you'll notice that the markups that I placed originally just have a standard subject. So the cloud is obviously called cloud, a call out is a call out. But these contractor ones that I've placed have a different subject, and those have been changed to contractor. Let me show you how you do that. It's one of the properties that you can go ahead and change. So let's just open up that right-hand panel. And you'll see my subject here is cloud. Well, I can go ahead and I can change that to electrical. And now I have my cloud that's been changed to electrical as the subject. And this is going to come in really handy when we talk about our workflow of importing comments and how that works. So let's go to that right now. The idea is that you're sending out these documents to project partners. And in a traditional workflow, you're having to print out these documents, have them shipped over. There's the time for the printing. There's the time for the shipping. Then the other people, they get those documents. They have to redline them. Then they pack them up and they ship them back. So, I mean, you could be looking at a couple of, days if you're lucky, but weeks to get these, these documents back and forth to get the comments from all of your different disciplines. And what we've done is we've given you the ability to import those comments. So let's just go here, and I'm going to grab, there we go, grab my electrical, mechanical, and plumbing comments. And these are all for my A201 drawing. And Revu is actually going to just grab all of the markups that have been placed and put them onto this one document. Let me just scroll out here, and you can see now that I have electrical, mechanical, and plumbing comments that have all been added. They're all color-coded. And now my markups list contains, close it instead of opening it. Now my markups list contains all of those markups. And again, you can see I've got all of these different subjects. Now this markups list is what we like to call Excel within Revu because it allows you to filter. I can turn on filters, and I can choose to just see the contractor comments. As you'll notice, all of the other comments have been grayed out, so I'm only seeing in color those comments that I've got filtered here. This is great, again, with the electrical comments. And one of the best things about this program is that all of these things are linked together. So from a document perspective, I don't have to try and figure out, how these correlate to each other or where is this markup on the markups list. Adversely, I can click on the link here in the markups list and review it. Markup is on the drawing. You can go ahead and create summaries. We have this custom column here called responsibility. But Revu does come preloaded. Oops, that's not what I was looking for. Sorry. Revu does come preloaded with several different, columns that you can turn on and off. And the responsibilities column, as I said, is a custom column, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that. So come over here. We do custom column. There's several different, options that you have when creating a custom column. Checkmark, date, formula, number, text, all of those different things. This one is choice. Because we have several different options of people that we want to be able to assign these tasks to. And you'll notice that the subject will come into play here because M. Smith is associated with electrical. So when I do a filter, let's cancel out of that because we've already got this made. When I filter on my electrical and I choose responsibility, I can go ahead, and it's only going to give me a list of the people who are authorized or listed under that electrical or who don't have a subject associated with them. So these are all of my electrical contractors or people that I can choose or pick on, if you want to look at it that way, to assign different things to. And I can go ahead and do that on an individual basis, or I can even grab multiple callouts, or markups, I should say. And in my properties panel, I have this custom section, and I can go ahead and I can assign those to J. Wilkins all in one shot, so making it nice and easy. Now I can go ahead and filter. I just want to see the J. Wilkins, and again, you'll notice that Revu is graying out all the other comments, and I only have those comments for J. Wilkins. I can create a summary from this, either Excel or a PDF summary that can then be emailed directly out to J. Wilkins with his task list. He's going to get not only this drawing, but he'll get a really nice, let's just go ahead, we'll append the current PDF and call it task list. Well, there we go. I'll show you just how quick and easy it is to create that, excuse me, that list. And if we open up our panel and our thumbnail, you can see that I have my original A201 drawing with all of those markups, and then this lovely task list that I can email out to D. Latham or J. Wilkins or whoever, and it has all of those markups on there, and these are all, again, hyperlinked. The great news is that because PDF is an ISO standard document format, these hyperlinks will work in other PDF softwares. So you do not have to have users with Revu to be able to share this information. Anyone, any other PDF software will open it up and give them the ability to take advantage of those hyperlinks. So now we have we've gone over the basics of the interface. Let's talk about optimizing our document set. So I'm pretty sure that many of you are familiar with getting document sets that are probably not set up in an ideal way. So let's go ahead and we're going to open a set, show you the thumbnail tab, and this is likely something that people are used to getting, which is a set of documents that do not have any sort of rhyme or reason to the naming convention. All the sheets are coming from different disciplines. They all name them differently. What we want to do is create a nice, easy to use, navigable set of drawings. So what I'm going to do is use the power of Revu to rename all of these sheets. And I can do that using this create page labels. And if you're lucky enough to get bookmarks with your documents, then you can absolutely go ahead and use those bookmarks to create those page labels. In this case, we don't have any, so I'm going to use our page region. Now, I'm just going to zoom in here, and I know that the drawing number is, is unique to each of the pages, so I'm going to use that information. Oh, we need to do shift. And then I'm going to add another region by using that underscore, and I'm going to use the drawing title because, again, this is specific information that is, great to have. And then I like to also put the suffix of, the project name. So go ahead and click OK. You'll see that this is a 35-page document, and in just a matter of seconds, Revu is going to go ahead and create those page labels for me using those sections that I have pointed out. So now I've got this set of drawings that makes a little bit more sense to people. My electrical, my structural, everything is named in a really easy format. So that's step one. Now I have this great index. And it would be really nice if I could, set this document set up so that I could easily navigate through, without having to jump through pages and scroll through and try and figure out where the pages are. And that's where our batch hyperlinking functionality comes into play. Now, batch hyperlinking is something that came out with Revu 12 earlier this year, and it is only available in our extreme version. Now, what I can do is go to my batch link, and I'm going to say that this is a new link because I obviously am starting from scratch. So I'm going to open or add my open files. Obviously, do not want to do it with my presentation, so we'll go ahead. Now, again, you have different options, but for our intents and purposes, I'm going to use the page region again. And I'm going to go ahead and click on Setting. Oh, sorry. That's not what I wanted. All right. So we're going to tell the system that we want to use page region. So just like we did with the auto mark, I'm going to go ahead and use that drawing number, because again, this is what correlates to my index. So I will go ahead and say yes, and now we're going to generate. Now, this is just a preview, and what Revu is basically doing is going through all of my documents and looking for all of those drawing numbers. And anywhere it sees it in a document, it's going to link it back to that page. Now, one of the things that I really like to do is to make this, oh, let me just cancel out of that because I want to get some information. One of the things that I really like to do is, oh, sorry, next. Is I like to make it as easy as possible for people to navigate through, so I can jump back and forth to these different pages. But I would also really like to, for that A000, no, that's not listed on any page. So I actually have the ability to go ahead and change this, and I'm going to put in the project number. That way, anybody, when you're going through this document set, the project number is listed on all of those different pages. And so I want to be able to use that to jump back to this title page. So my link options, I'm just going to highlight those so that you can see what happens, and we'll go ahead and click Run. Now again, this is a 35-page document, and you'll notice in just a couple of seconds that Revu went through and was able to create 166 hyperlinks. I'm going to go ahead and close that out, and now you'll see that I have all of these highlighted. So I can click on my A201, and as I go through, I can zoom in, and I've got this A300 detail, and if I click on that, I jump right to that page. And as I'm on that page, I can zoom in and, oh, there's another elevation detail for A700, so I can jump to that. Just a really great way for you to, again, create that set of navigable drawings that makes it easier to navigate through. And as I said, we've got it set up so that when you click on the project number, it's going to jump you back to that title page. So nice and simple. Now, one of the problems that we have with this, although we've set it up, we've got all of these great names, and we've got the hyperlinks, is that this is still all one giant file. So it's one 35-page document. And that will work for some people, but we want to be able to give them the ability, to go ahead and just work on single files. So we give you the ability to do that by using the extract pages. So we're going to extract all 35 pages. I do not want to open them after extraction because that will just create some craziness. And we're going to choose to extract the pages as separate files. Now, I want to use the page label to name those files because I just went through that process to get that done. And you want to make sure that you're choosing this update hyperlinks with relative paths. Now, this is super important because as I extract these pages, and I put them into, not that folder, let's go into my, extracted, there we go. So now, let me just open up that extracted. So now you can see, let me just open that up a little bit more, I now have all of these documents as separate pages. They're typically less than 300 kilobytes, and this makes it really easy for me to share these documents with other users. And the other key piece of this is that now we all have had those moments where we've been working on something and you accidentally delete and you lose everything. This way, when you're sharing these documents with other people, you'll be able to have them work on a single file, so that if there are any of those issues where someone accidentally hits delete, you still have a backup. They haven't deleted the entire set. They've just deleted that one file. So that extract pages is a really key thing. So now we have our documents. They're all set up. We've got them hyperlinked. We've got them named properly. Everything is great. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of what this presentation is, and let's talk about Studio. Now, as I mentioned before, Studio comes with every license of Revu. It's such an important feature that it's one of the icons that never goes away as you're moving through all of your different windows. You always have access to Studio. And now Studio comes in two different versions. So there's Studio Sessions, which is our online real-time document-based collaboration. And then there's Projects. And Projects is where we're going to start. So let me just close out this set, because I already have one uploaded into a project here. So you can see I've got my Valley College project, and I'm going to go ahead and open that up. Now, this, as I said, has already been set up, and you'll see I've got, all my files in here. And these aren't just PDF files. The great news with projects, our light document management system, is that you can upload any file type. So you'll notice here I have Word documents, I have images, I have my PDFs, I even have some Excel spreadsheets in here. Now, it's important to note that these can be stored in the projects, but they will open up in the native program. So anybody that's going to be participating in your project will need to have those native programs in order to open up those documents. So you'll see here I just opened up that concrete spec, and it opened up in my Word. Go ahead and close that out. Excuse me. Now, one of the other things I love to point out about projects is that there is no storage limit. We use the Amazon S3 cloud, and we have, again, no storage limit on these projects. So it's a really great way for you to be able to share documents with people because, again, you can just upload as many as you want into a project and have that available to other users. Now, I'm going to leave just so that I can show you how easy it is to start a new project. You just come to the Start button, and you have the option to start a new session or a new project. And it also will give you a bunch of different settings. So as the administrator of a project, let me just go back in there. You can see this settings function. You just go ahead and open it up and show you. I have the ability to grant access to different users. So here I've got a list of someone that I invited to this session, and I have allowed her permission. Now, this box right here is super important. It restricts users to the email addresses that you list here. So from a security perspective, it gives you a lot more control. Each session is given a unique 9-digit code, which you can send out to anybody. But again, if you set it up so that you restrict it by email address, it gives you that extra layer of security. I can also go ahead and set the permissions for different people. So it automatically defaults to basically deny people from doing anything other than editing those files. But on an individual basis, so if I had a group set up or if I had an individual, I could set up my own groups, what have you. I could choose to give them different abilities. As a best practice, we always say that it's best to leave these, as they are in the default mode and just allow people to edit files, unless you have somebody who's an administrator that you want to be able to, help you run that project. So now we're in our project. Let's just go ahead and we will open up a couple of documents here. Now, the projects work like, as I said, it's a light document management system, and so it works on a check-in and check-out basis. So what you can do, you'll notice I've got this lock here beside my document, and none of my tools are available. Everything is grayed out. I don't have the ability to add any markups. What I have to do in order to do that is go ahead and check that document out. Now, this locks it for other people, and you can see anybody that comes into this project is going to see that red check mark that denotes that this document has been checked out, and I now have the ability to go ahead and add my markups. But you'll see that all of those hyperlinks that we created are still active and still working, even though these are all separate sheets that we've created, and that's because we used that relative path when we were setting up the hyperlinks. So now I'll go ahead and I'm going to place a really small markup here just so that you can see. Need handrail specs. You can see that's my favorite one, the handrail specs. And so now when someone comes in to look at this file, they're not actually going to see that because I've got it checked out. But what I can do, I can either check it in or I can just choose to update the server copy. And that just pushes the information, added stair rail, I cannot type today, apologies. Comment, and we'll check it in. That pushes that information up to the server copy, so now when somebody else looks at it, they'll see that call out, but I still have the document checked out, so again, they have no ability to go ahead and edit it. Now, the project collaboration comes in when, say, we're working on this, this document and we need to do a design review. Rather than printing out this document again and mailing it out to all of the project participants and having them redline and send it all back in, it would be so much better and so much easier if we could just open up a studio session, which is, again, our online document-based collaboration, and invite different users to be able to go through this design review process with me. And I can do that, again, with that right-click functionality. I'm going to go ahead and add this to a new session. And we'll call this VCTC Design Review. And Review is going to take that document for me and upload it and create a new studio session. So you'll see I have this studio icon. That denotes that I'm in a session right now, and we'll close out this other document. And I have all of the functionality that I need, all of my markup tools and everything. And I can go ahead and I can invite people directly from here. So I'm just going to use my address book and invite my colleague Drew. Send that over. Now, Drew, I could put in, an additional message if I wanted to, or I can just email this out. Now, Drew is going to get an email that says that he's been invited to the session. There will be a link that he can click on, and it will jump him right into this session with me. Adversely, I have this 9-digit code, and so I could give that out to people as well. Now, just like the project, we have settings, and you can restrict your users by address. And so, again, from a permission standpoint, from a security standpoint, really great. Now, I can go ahead and, Drew's been invited, but I'm the only one in this session right now, and that's fine. I can go ahead and I can start adding my, different markups, all sorts of different things. So let's just go ahead. Oh, and there you see, Drew has just arrived. We integrate with cameras. Good morning. And you can go ahead and drop that right onto your drawing. Just do this, add a little call out, and do not. Whoops. Do not let her in the building. All right. Now you'll notice that everything is being tracked here in this record section. So when Drew joined the session, I got that information, and every time I'm placing a markup, all of that information is being placed there. Now if I wanted to, as the administrator, if I hover over Drew here, you'll see these two little footprints. If I click on that, that means that I can follow Drew. So now I'm not moving my mouse at all. I'm actually just watching Drew as he's placing markups. So I can follow him in real time as he's placing these things. If he's got questions, he can ask me, and we can have a live session and get those things cleared up right away. Now, I'm going to go ahead and unfollow Drew, but you can see that we also have the ability to notify. So let's say, my image, I want to alert Drew that I should not be let into this building. And so what I'm going to do is use that right-click functionality, click OK, and alert Drew. Now, you'll notice that it's listed here in my record section, and Drew is going to get a notification. He can get it both by email as well as in his studio session. He'll get a flash that will notify him that there is something that needs to be addressed. This is also a chat window, so I can send messages to Drew, and all of this information, just like the markups list, is kept track of for me, and we still have that markups list. So everything is still available. Accountability-wise, we have all of the information we need. Now, I can go through and, oh, there's Drew. He said hello. So I can go through, and again, this is just a really nice way that you can, be collaborating with different users. Now, Revu Studio sessions. You can invite up to 500 users to a single session, 500. And the great thing is that the only person that needs to have a paid copy of Revu is the person who starts the session. Anyone else that joins your project, or your session rather, only needs to have our free viewer, which is available from our website. And once they get into the session, they will be able to use all of the markup tools. As soon as they leave the session, it just reverts back to a free viewer. Technology should not be a barrier for people to be able to work together, and so that's one of the main reasons that we have that functionality built in. So now we're going through and, say we've finished our session, or actually I'm on site. I'm actually going through the location and I'm doing a punch walk. Now I am at a construction site and lo and behold, I lose my internet connection, something I'm sure we're all very familiar with. So I'm going to mimic that by manually switching myself offline. But you'll notice that I'm still in my session. I still have access to all of my tools, so I can go ahead and we can place another cloud here. I can put another image on. If we had, let's see, a new mullion spec, I can go ahead and I can place all of those things. But it's not being updated to the server copy because, again, I'm not online. And that's what this pending section is for. So you can see I've got these, the markups that I've just placed, and those are waiting to be uploaded. So I can still continue to work while I'm on the site without my internet access, as if nothing is going on. And once I get my internet connection back, I'll just go ahead and connect. You'll see as these markups are actually placed onto the document for me. I now have them showing up in my record, and they show with the timestamp of the time that they actually hit the document, because that's when I came back online. Now, as the administrator, I have some extra functionality available to me, and I can create a report. The report can be created at any time. So we've got some customers that will do it on a weekly basis or a daily basis so that they can see what's going on. Or you can create the report when you're completely done with your session. So in this case, I'll say that we've done our design review, we're all set, everything is great, and we figured out all of the issues. So I'm going to go ahead and create a PDF package report. I can add notes if I wanted to. I've got all sorts of different options here. And let's go ahead and put this on our desktop. And now this is how the report comes out. So I have a file that's got all of my documents. So all the documents that were loaded, in this case it's just the A201, and then I have this great PDF report. So this is taking everything, again, from this record section and putting it all into this nice, easy format. And again, everything is hyperlinked. So as I'm going through the report, if I want to see, where was this call out placed, I can simply click on it and it will jump me to the view that Drew was in when he placed that call out. So again, from a navigation perspective, we will just want to keep things as simple as possible. Now, once I'm done with my session, I'm going to go ahead and click Finish. Now, this is going to give me the same options to go ahead and create those the report if I want to. I'm going to save this document into a folder. You can choose not to save the files, but that doesn't really work with the workflow. And I'm going to generate a report. So let's go ahead. We'll click OK. Now, Revu is going to go through, and it's going to close out. Oops. Okay, let me just cancel out of that. And close out of that. Nope. Sorry, having a bit of an issue here. Let me just jump back to my project sheet. Okay, so you can see this icon here denotes that this is actually part of a studio session right now. We'll go back to that session, open it back up again, and we're going to go ahead and let's try and finish it again. And I'm actually going to finish and save it to my desktop instead. All right, so generate report. All right, so now Revu has generated that report for me. It's closed out my session, and if I go back to my Valley College project, you can see that I now have that document checked out again. So I have the ability to go in and all of the information, there we go. Oh, check in, there we go. So now, oh, I apologize, it did not work for me, there we go. So now, all of the information that I have on that document that was sent, that Drew and I were going through, is now going to be available in that project, and everybody will be able to see the information, that we went through with our design review. Just go ahead and close those out. So now, again, I've got this really easy to share, easy to navigate document that I can send to anybody that I need to, have access to that information. Again, it's all uploaded into my project, and so anybody that is part of this project will be able to see that most recent information. Go ahead and close that out. And so again, built right within the software is the ability to email directly from, you create those new files, you can go ahead and send them out to everyone. And let's see, I just have a couple of questions here that I want to get to before we get finished. Yes. So just so you know, this session is being recorded. There's a lot of information to go over in an hour. So this will be recorded, and Managed Design will have that available probably on their website, but they will definitely have it available so that you can view it again. And the next question, is there a plan to allow PDF packages to be available in the iPad app? That's a great question. I don't happen to know if that's currently on the roadmap, but it's one of the things that I am more than happy to get information on and follow up. And yeah, the difference with the iPad app, one of the things that we talk about a lot with the offline workflow, it's a little bit different with the iPad in that you have to actually save the files locally. So the work offline mode is a little bit different, and we've got lots of information on our website about how that functionality works. But yeah, so the iPad is a great solution. Again, people who have the free viewer on the iPad, they can go ahead and they can join your project session or your studio sessions without having to have that paid license of the software. The iPad app is available from the App Store, but just because of the processor speed, there is some limited functionality with that iPad app, but it is a great solution for a lot of people who are working remotely. We also have full integration with tablets, Windows 8 tablets. So, again, for people who are working out in the field and, need to have access. And the great thing with the tablets is it's a full license. So, all of the offline mode, everything works exactly the same as it does on a desktop or a laptop. So, that brings us to the end of the session. I just want to go ahead and, again, thank you all so much for joining us today. I want to thank Managed Design for hosting this webinar. Again, they're just a great partner of Bluebeam. They have great success. And great track record with our customers. So if you have any questions about pricing, about the program itself, please don't hesitate to reach out to Managed Design. They can be reached at 877-564-3420, or you can email them at info@manageddesigninc.com. All right, here's another question. When you export a profile, what information is included in that file? That's a great question as well. Let's just go ahead and hit escape. So when I'm setting up my profiles, like let's say the Angela's profile, so this profile, when I save it, go ahead, oops, cancel. This profile will come with the tool sets. So if you save those tool sets and you have them, saved to that profile, everything from the profile will come over when you send it to your other people. So again, it's a really great way. We have lots of tool sets that have already been created for free, available on our website. But again, if you're creating custom tools, you can go ahead, create that profile, assign those tool sets to that profile and send the profile out, and then everybody's going to get everything. Or you can just do the tool sets themselves. One or the other, it doesn't matter. But yes, the profile will actually have all of those, the tool sets that you have open and saved to it. And again, it's just a really great way to standardize. We have a lot of people who will have, an administrator who's setting up a project, and they'll go through and, set up those different tool sets. Let's just do the design review, and I can show you the tool sets there. So I have my architect review, my contractor review, and my engineer review. This is all in my design review profile that, again, I can email out to people, and they're going to get these same tools. But somebody else goes through, customizes those tools, and then sends it out to everybody in the that's working on the project. So again, it's just nice and simple. You don't have 100 different people creating 100 different tools and trying to match things up. Just nice and simple, again, for that collaboration piece. Just keep checking the window to see if there are any other questions. But again, just a reminder, at the end of the webinar, if you wouldn't mind, please filling out that survey. That's how we're going to know and validate that you have been here for the entire webinar. And then we can go ahead and, upon request, issue you the AIA CES certificate. So again, we are a couple minutes early, which is great. I always like to, to end a little bit early and give you, some of your time back. But if there are any other questions, please feel free to use that questions window. I will stay logged on for a few minutes and happy to answer anything. Again, really, really thank you very much for taking the time this morning to learn about project collaboration with Bluebeam Studio, presented to you by Managed Design. I hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much.